Well, I thought I had built my Goldilocks knife, which I'd done a video on this prior to putting the scales on, which was going to be my interpretation of essentially the trail guide. And I like it, but I don't think I achieved what I wanted for a couple reasons. Love the tool set. I think it's really neat. But the biggest challenge has always been to find something that's small enough. And unfortunately for me, yeah, this thing's a 3-layer. And I just, at least now being summertime, it just doesn't sit well in a pair of shorts when it's hot outside. So I don't think this is going to be my knife, at least for the summer. But the bigger challenge has always been for me, and I'm sure for anyone else that's been modding knives, is the scales. Oh my God, what a pain scales are, because when you first start messing with them, you'll end up breaking them, chipping them, whatever, trying to, as you take them off, put them back on. It's, you can do it once or twice, but then after that, they start to get damaged, and then you start messing around with the devil's glue, which is the absolute worst product on the planet, as anyone who's ever messed with it. Somehow it just magically gets on your fingers and sticks to everything, despite your best intentions. So very frustrating. But anyway, these scales I settled on. They're kind of neat. They're actually 3D printed, so they're plus scales. But, you know, this is like our third attempt at these. My son had picked up a 3D printer, unbeknownst to me. And I went into his room and I was like, what the hell is this thing? Anyway, 3D printer, so we've been messing with it. We tried another pattern. It was this one. And you can see that. See that? It was like a little too thin. So there's I'm not going to get into all the nuances of 3D printing, but I thought it was like the greatest thing in the world that I could start printing scales, and just not there. And part of it is just the fact that it's homemade. It feels like a craft project to me. I don't know, with the like those titanium scales that they sell, might be kind of neat. I've never messed with them. They're really expensive. I'm very reluctant to drop like $50+ on a pair of scales that I may or may not like. And who knows if they're going to fit right. Like this one right here, I don't know if you can see the top layer? It shifted down just a touch, and then on the end there, see that? Had to crimp down on it. Anyway, it's fine. But I tried some other scales, homemade. This is actually on my botanist knife, which I'd done a video on. And I called them the poor man's scales, which was a complete disaster because it was essentially like a layer of Gorilla Tape with a layer of rubber tape, Gorilla Tape on top, and then I cut it. And it looked nice until you started using this thing, because I cut a lot of plastic with these things. These are fantastic for cutting plastic, by the way. Absolutely. Cutting the tops off like a container if you want to make a funnel. I cut actually the top off a garbage can to make a smaller one for our garage. Amazing tool. But the problem is you start moving this thing and then the glue started coming out. So these scales, which I actually really like, are a piece of a broken refrigerator. It's just the part of the shelving. And honestly, this was like the most rudimentary like tool set I had. I had some sandpaper. I forget how I even cut these things. But I actually like these better, honestly, which I know it's ridiculous, than these things, which are like the plus scales that were printed that are supposed to be, well, I thought were going to be perfect. But what ends up happening for me is I still come back to the originals. It's just something about the nice, obviously the logo, they got a nice shine to them, at least when they're fresh. And then they got a nice little patina as they get older. These scales, I just got these. I just did a video on this knife. They were $16 shipped. The guy claimed they came off a new knife, but you needed to glue them on. I was like, all right, well, I'll take a chance on them. They're mint. I don't know why anyone would pull these off a knife and sell them separately, but I didn't use any glue. They're fine. And now this little knife, I mean, talk about a summer knife, Goldilocks, Granted, there's really no tools on here, but it's basically like the 91 millimeter version of the Gourmet with plus scales. So great little summer knife, and it's a great little supplement to another knife if you want to carry something bigger. But you can leave this thing in your back pocket. Honestly, you won't even know it's there, so it's kind of fun. But anyway, I just I don't know what to do about the scales. I might just stick with the tried and true traditional version. And I'm pretty excited because I got another knife coming soon, and I bought it specifically for the scales, but I'll share that one with you hopefully later this week when it comes in the mail, if all goes according to plan. But a little disappointed in this guy. I really thought I had nailed it, but I guess that's part of the fun of these things, deciding what's going to work for you. And your mood's going to change, right? Sometimes maybe you want something thicker. I don't know. Anyway, just some random thoughts again. Hope you like that one.